This is part of the footballing season that we as enjoyers of football either absolutely love or absolutely loathe. The summer window is an opportunity for your club to bring in reinforcements for the next season, to build on past accomplishments from the last one. If you're a Madrid or a City fan, you probably love this period. If you're a United fan, you probably get tired quick since we're usually linked to pretty much everyone under the sun. And if you're a Liverpool fan or a Spurs fan, you probably just tune this period out of the season entirely. But regardless, let's look over some of the biggest transfers of the window so far. And real quick boys, if you're new to the channel and enjoying the content, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. About 97% of you guys are not subs, so make sure we're subbing, hitting that notification bell so we don't miss an upload. If you're not new to the channel boys, welcome back. Glad to have you on for another video. With that being said boys, let's get into these transfers. Endrick is a kid who has had his career work out almost as great as possible. The guy has had pretty much a perfect PR machine behind him since he was born and is now seeing the fruits of all this positive PR coming to fruition. Endrick would first make headlines for Palmeiras at the age of 15, where he would score 6 goals in 7 games at the Cupinha tournament, which is held to showcase the young talent that these clubs have at their disposal. Not long after, Endrick would find himself playing for the first team and was already grabbing attention from clubs around the world. The fact that at just 15, Endrick's movement, finishing, physicality were already on par with those much older than him made him stand out even more. Add to this the fact that he was also renowned for his elite mentality. The kid would be motivating his teammates, staff, coaches, all before big matches. At 15, I was trying my hardest to pack Team of the Year Messi and Ronaldo, and here we have Endrick who was leading Palmeiras on his back at that age. Talking about Endrick makes me feel so old, but there's nothing we could do about it. Real Madrid would announce the signing of Endrick in December 2022 for around 60 million euros. However, Endrick would not actually join the Spanish Giants until he was 18, which now leads us into the following season. After the deal was made, Endrick would enjoy his final seasons at Palmeiras, knowing he would be joining Real Madrid regardless of what happens. He would go on to score 18 goals and 3 assists across 72 games and 2 seasons. He was also dropping iconic quotes and photo shoots like it was nobody's business. So what should we expect from Endrick at Real Madrid? Well, Endrick did have a very disappointing Copa America in the grand scheme of things, especially the game where he started as the main number 9 against Uruguay, which people are going to use to try and discredit the talent that the kid does have. But in all honesty, Endrick at Madrid will prove to be a great rotation option for when Mbappe, Vini, or Rodrigo need a rest. Additionally, he'll probably have countless hours to work and learn from names that I just mentioned. Endrick is definitely a long-term signing, and at this point, it's just a matter of seeing how well he pans out. If he reaches his potential, then Real Madrid have the next Pele on their hands. Even if he reaches a quarter of that, they're still going to have a player that is very, very good, probably better than the likes of Joselu who they just had last season. So of course, after years of manipulating both Real Madrid and PSG, Mbappe has finally joined Real Madrid for free. Honestly, there's really not much to say about Mbappe that we don't already know. World Cup winner at 18, arguably the best player in the world, incredibly fast, tricky on the ball, great finishing. Mbappe at just age 26, again, arguably best player in the world. And he's finally made the move that is going to put even more eyes on his brilliant play week in and week out. Joining up with Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vini, Tchouaméni, Valverde, and all the other stars that they have in Madrid, Mbappe is going to be the jewel in the crown of the 3rd iteration of the Galacticos. Since PSG wasn't paid anything for Mbappe, his transfer was classified as a free one, but of course, that's not really how football works. For joining Madrid, Mbappe is going to be receiving a 150 million euro signing bonus. Most standard jobs, if you do get a signing bonus, at least here in the United States, 1,000, 2,000, this brother is getting 150 million. On top of that, he's also going to have a yearly salary of 15 million euros. So as you guys can see, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a free transfer. You know, maybe I should have tried a lot harder when I was younger, and maybe I could have earned myself an 150 million euro signing bonus somewhere. But for now, YouTube will have to do, so make sure you guys subscribe. This is such a ludicrous amount of money, but again, Mbappe is arguably the best player in the world, so these numbers would have followed him around wherever he went. If he would have stayed at PSG, if he would have moved to Man City, whatever it might have been, these are the numbers that he would have been demanding anywhere he went. At this point now, all eyes are on Madrid and Mbappe to see what they can accomplish while all these guys are in their prime. Madrid was already winning Champions League and La Ligas before the arrival of Mbappe, meaning the team is really set up to be able to accomplish anything pretty easily on paper. Of course, it is football and anything can happen, but for the foreseeable future, Mbappe's move to Madrid has made them one of the most terrifying sides to come up against for quite some time. Michael Olise is a player who has gone relatively under the radar in the Premier League these last 2 seasons. Despite a poor first season for Palace, Olise would manage to turn things around magnificently. In the 22-23 season, he would finish with 11 assists, only behind Mo Salah, De Bruyne, and Trossard, which goes to show just how well he performed in the campaign, in which Crystal Palace finished 11th. For the 23-24 campaign, despite missing countless games due to injury, he would stack up 10 goals and 6 assists in just 19 games of action, and of course, 2 of those goals came against United in a 4-0 pounding. He just had to to be fit for that game, didn't he? Olise is a winger who's constantly finding himself on the ball for Palace. His technical ability, passing ability, and IQ for linking up with his teammates has allowed him to flourish and really make a name for himself. In fact, he ranks highly in most passing and attacking metrics for players in the same position across the top 5 leagues in Europe, pretty much establishing himself as one of the top right wingers in the world. Despite garnering attention from the likes of United, Chelsea, and Newcastle, Bayern Munich would ultimately win the race for Olise as they signed him for 60 million euros. For Bayern, they have potentially finally found a player that plugged that right wing hole that has been present since Robin departed the club. It's still yet to see how well Olise is going to work with his brand new teammates at Bayern Munich, but there's definitely a ton of upside for all parties involved in the transfer. Bayern get a great right winger, Olise now gets to play with the likes of Harry Kane, Sane, Gnabry, Musiala, all these elite attacking talents, so it's going to be interesting to see how well Olise does in his new environment. It wouldn't be a brand new season of football if we weren't talking about Manchester City doing something incredibly shady, but somehow allowed by the powers that be. Add another charge. Savinho is a player who's coming off an incredible season for Girona that saw the Spanish club make an impressive run that no one saw coming. Savinho is a very pacey, tricky winger who wasn't afraid to take on his man. He isn't an absolutely lethal goal scorer, but more often than not, his actions on the wing allow him to create goal scoring opportunities for his teammates around him. Savinho actually ranks incredibly highly for dribbling and take on metrics across wingers in the top 5 leagues. He is undoubtedly an incredible talent, and he would get signed by Man City for 33 million euros, where he will definitely get the chance to grow and make a name for himself in the most commercial league in the world. It's too bad the transfer is completely clouded by controversy. So Man City's owner is the infamous Sheikh Mansour, but the entity that owns Man City is known as City Football Group, which is one of many conglomerates in world football that owns multiple teams across many countries. And all the clubs that City Football Group owns across the world, there's only 3 that we need to know for this story. Troyes in France, Girona in Spain, and of course Man City. So in 2022, Savinho was acquired by Troyes for a club record 10.5 million euros, and it was then decided that Savinho would be loaned out to PSV, and subsequently Troyes would be relegated from League 1 as they would not have the firepower to compete. In the following season, instead of having Savinho help out the French side, Savinho was then loaned out to an affiliate club, Girona, where Savinho would then have the best season of his career to date, where he registered 9 goals and 10 assists in La Liga to help Girona qualify for the Champions League. All while Troyes, his parent club, suffered a 2nd relegation in a row. And now Savinho finds himself in the hands of the Premier League champions, Man City. It really seems like Savinho was bought for Troyes only for him to spend time getting pumped up to be ready for Man City. Keep in mind that the summer where Troyes signed Savinho, that summer for Man City saw the arrival of Julian Alvarez, Akanji, Calvin Phillips, and Haaland, meaning there wasn't much financial fair play room for Man City to sign Savinho outright. Not necessarily alluding to anything, I'm just presenting everyone with the facts. Leny Yoro is a talent that has been touted as the next Raphael Varane. The 18-year-old Frenchman, who is 6'3" by the way, when did kids start getting this tall, has been incredibly impressive for Lille, who have managed to get 4th place in Ligue 1. Great pace, a dominating aerial presence, and great ability on the ball are all qualities that make Yoro stand out amongst his peers. Specifically, his ability on the ball is very key, especially considering how teams like to play football at the moment. When it comes to center backs in Europe's top 5 leagues, Yoro ranks quite highly for his passing ability. There's still room to see how well he adapts to defending in a top league, but of course we're gonna have to wait and see. And the fact that this guy at just 18 has become so comfortable in the starting position for Lille shows how much quality he really has. Yoro quickly became the target for 3 top clubs: Madrid, Liverpool, and United. Madrid seemed to have Yoro in the bag, especially when it appeared that Yoro had every desire to join them. They even gave him a box in the Champions League final for him to attend and watch Madrid. In fact, it looked so much like Yoro was heading to Madrid that Liverpool conceded the idea of bringing him to Anfield. However, in steps United, who gave Lille and Yoro an offer they could not refuse. Yoro would join United for 62 million euros, making him one of the most expensive signings of the summer so far. This is undoubtedly a player who is getting signed for potential, but he still has enough quality at this very moment to quickly cement himself as a starter for United. If Yoro reaches even half the potential that he's touted to have, then United are in for a generational center back. But similar to Endrick, we're gonna have to wait and see how this transfer really pans out for United. And before we wrap up, here's a couple of honorable mentions that I'll get into real quickly. Douglas Luiz to Juventus for 51 million euros. After establishing himself as one of the best CDMs in the Prem and helping Aston Villa finish top 4, Luiz would be a part of one of the first ever double transfers alongside Alicia Lehmann, as they would both make the move to Juventus. Luiz's ability to be a commanding defensive anchor with good passing ability will prove to be vital for Thiago Motta's project at Juventus. Onana to Aston Villa for 60 million euros. In order to replace the presence of Douglas Luiz, Villa have chosen to bring in Onana as a replacement, and in all honesty, this might even be an upgrade. Having been a key figure in Everton's midfield as a ball-winning midfielder, Onana will look to carry on his great form into a new season for Villa. Xerxes to United for 42 million. Xerxes is a player who's going to be providing great competition to Højlund for that spot as United's starting striker. Although at the moment Xerxes isn't the most lethal striker, his ability on the ball is extremely extremely good, and he'll be able to bring the likes of Rashford into the games a lot more than Højlund. If either one of these two strikers can get into a good run of form, or even both of them at the same time, United's attack will be cooking. Leny to Bayern for 51 million. Yet another CDM who has made a move this summer. Leny will look to bring a defensive stability to Bayern that they have been missing for a bit. If we're being honest, the like of Goretzka and Kimmich are nowhere near as good as Leny when it comes to breaking up play. This is the type of signing that realistically over the course of a season can give Bayern Munich a chance at winning some significant silverware. But then again, the Harry Kane curse is following them around this season. There you have it, boys. Some of the top transfers that have happened this season. Of course, still a ton of time in the transfer window for major things to happen and shake up how the season is going to go for all of these top teams. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below of the transfer that I talked about, any transfers that I missed, and who you want to see your club sign. Thank you boys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Peace.